Detective Marcus Trent's leather shoes clacked against the rain-soaked pavement as he approached the crime scene. The city's underbelly reeked of decay, a pungent mix of wet concrete, rotting garbage, and something else, something metallic. The sickly yellow glow of the street lamps barely penetrated the heavy fog, casting eerie shadows that danced in the periphery of his vision. "Another one, Detective," Officer Reynolds said, his face pale and eyes wide with fear. He gestured toward the dark alley, the entrance guarded by a flimsy strip of police tape. "This one's worse than the others." Trent stepped into the narrow passage, his keen eyes scanning the scene. Blood smeared the brick walls in violent arcs, pooling in the cracks of the uneven ground. The victim, a young woman, lay sprawled grotesquely, her body mutilated beyond recognition. Deep, savage gashes marred her flesh, and her eyes, wide open in a final, silent scream, reflected a terror that chilled Trent to the bone. As Trent knelt beside the body, a faint memory tugged at the edges of his consciousness. The scene felt disturbingly familiar, the brutality echoing something dark and primal within him. He shook off the sensation, focusing instead on the task at hand. "Same as the others," he muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. "No signs of struggle, no witnesses. It's like they were ambushed by a ghost." "Or a monster," Reynolds interjected, swallowing hard. "Some folks say it's a beast, a werewolf." Trent's jaw tightened. He had heard the rumors, the whispers of an ancient curse plaguing the city. Each full moon, another life claimed, another body shredded by claws that defied logic and reason. But he was a man of facts, not folklore. Later that evening, Trent found himself at a dimly lit club, the neon lights flickering ominously. His friend, Detective Ryan Pierce, was already at the bar nursing a drink. Trent slid onto the stool beside him, signaling the bartender for a whiskey. "Another one tonight," Pierce said, his voice strained. Trent nodded, his expression grim. "I've heard. These murders are getting out of hand. We've got to find this maniac before the entire city falls into panic." Pierce took a deep swig of his drink, the burn of the alcohol doing little to quell the unease gnawing at him. "It's not a maniac, Marcus. It's something else. Something inhuman." Trent shot him a skeptical glance. "Don't start with that werewolf crap, Ryan. We're detectives, not ghost hunters." Pierce slammed his glass down, the sound echoing through the bar. "You think I don't know that? But what else explains this? The wounds, the full moon, there's a pattern." Trent leaned in, his voice low and angry. "You're losing it, man. Get a grip. We need to focus on real evidence, not fairy tales." The tension between them thickened, and before Pierce could respond, a fight broke out at a nearby table. The sudden commotion was all it took for Trent's already frayed nerves to snap. He pushed away from the bar, his movements jerky and uncoordinated. "I can't do this," he muttered, shoving past Pierce. "I need to clear my head." Ignoring Pierce's calls, Trent stumbled out of the club and into the rainy night. His mind raced as he made his way back to his apartment, the cold rain mixing with the sweat on his brow. The memory of the crime scene haunted him, each step feeling heavier than the last. When he finally reached his dimly lit apartment, the rain hammered against the windows in a relentless rhythm. He poured himself a drink, the amber liquid offering a brief respite from the chaos outside. As he sipped, his gaze drifted to the calendar on the wall. The date was circled in red, a full moon. A sudden, sharp pain shot through his skull, and Trent doubled over, clutching his head. Visions flashed before his eyes, blood, teeth, claws ripping through flesh. He staggered to the bathroom, gripping the sink as his reflection stared back at him, eyes wild and frantic. "No!" he gasped, the realization dawning on him with a horrifying clarity. "It can't be!" His hands began to tremble, fingers elongating into claws. His skin rippled and tore as coarse fur sprouted, his bones contorting and snapping into new, monstrous shapes. Trent's scream of agony morphed into a guttural howl, echoing through the empty apartment. The beast within him had awakened, the curse he had fought to deny now fully in control. His memories of the murders, the savagery flooded back. He had been the one hunting in the shadows, driven by an insatiable hunger for blood. With a final, desperate glance at his human reflection, Trent's consciousness faded, submerged beneath the primal instincts of the werewolf. The creature that once was Detective Marcus Trent leaped through the shattered window, disappearing into the night, ready to claim its next victim. The city shuddered as the howl echoed through the streets, a harbinger of the nightmare that would continue until the curse was broken. But tonight, there would be no hero to save the innocent, no detective to solve the mystery, only the beast, lurking in the darkness, waiting for the next full moon.